So Jai Hind to everyone. So in the lecture series of big data, in the previous class, we have discussed about what is our data and how much data is very much efficient enough, how we can have the predictions of the future on the behalf of the data, what kind of data we are acquiring everywhere, how we can utilize that data, how we can collect that data, and what kind of data we can use. In today's class, we will start with the evolution of the big data, that how we are having the evolution, how we are having the changes of that data. So here we are having a simple pictorial representation of that. In that pictorial representation, we are having the evolution of technology. It says that simply, previously we were having only the telephone. A telephone was there. And on the behalf of that, the changes has been happening as the data will becoming bigger and bigger, and the technology is coming bigger and bigger. We are having certain generations for that. So that part we're moving on to the mobile phone. That is the evolution of technology from the telephone to the mobile phone. Similarly, previously we were having only a standalone application, that is your desktop. But now, as with the eras, with the grown-up eras, with the number of changes of the data, the number of huge amount of data we are collecting, than that, now we are storing the information in the cloud itself. The storage only on a single system is not at all sufficient. We are talking about the big data. Previously, we are talking only about data. Previously, we are storing the information on a single system and it was utilized by some of the peoples. But nowadays, what's happening is that every people, every person, everywhere we are having a data. Huge amount of data we are having everywhere. Now, this data is to be utilized. The data is to be acquired by the people, by the companies for having the future predictions, for having the market demand. So that is why the information from the single desktop we can have nowadays changed to the cloud storage part. Now, one more is the change of the evolution of technology is that previously there was only the cars, that is the simple cars. Now, we are having the IoT cars. What are IoT cars? We'll discuss later about that part. Basically, the Internet of Things the cars. That means it is having the internet connectivity through which we can know the location, the area, and all more information regarding the car and the environment regarding the car. Fine. So previously we discussed about the IoT. So IoT showing is that this graphical representation is simply showing that IoT is having the different kinds of information by a single people. That means the energy substation, the smartphones, the wearables, the animals, the shopping cart, the vehicles, the bike computers, the smart meters, the parking meters, any sensors, camera, all are having the internet connectivity. Everywhere we are having the internet of things. That means every device is now connected to the internet and through which we can have the information at a single standalone station itself. Now next is your social media. Talk about the social media. Social media is a huge platform for producing the data. It's a huge amount of developing of the data. Simply showing this graph is that Instagram pics which we are nowadays uploading is 1736111. That means the Facebook pics, they are 4166667 likes and 2000000 photos. It is only in some few minutes. कुछ सेकंड्स की अगर मैं बात कर रही हूँ, उतने टाइम में आपके इतने पिक्स, इतने लाइक्स, इतने फोटोज आपके मार्केट में, आपके सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म पर आ जाते हैं. ईमेल्स की अगर हम बात करते हैं, 204000000 आर दी ईमेल्स थ्रू विच एवरी मिनट दे आर प्रोड्यूसिंग दैट डेटा. यूट्यूब की अगर हम बात करते हैं, 300 आवर्स ऑफ वीडियोज बीन अपलोडेड. एंड ट्वीट्स की अगर हम बात करते हैं, 34722 ट्वीट्स आर देयर फॉर द डेटा more production. It says, simply saying that this graph is representing that कितना large amount of data generate आपका हो रहा है in few seconds. एक single person भी अगर ये सब चीजों को use कर रहा है तो सोचिए, एक every individual person is producing certain kind of huge amount of data at a single place. It's a very huge amount of data, and that is to be managed, that is to be processed, that is to be utilized for the future prediction, for the future outcomes. Next is your other factors. Now, the big data are affecting certain different factors also, that is the banking and finance, media and entertainment, healthcare, education, government, transportation, insurance and your retail. Now, what is big data? We have previously discussed also. Now, we'll come on to a single statement of a big data. It is a term for collection of data sets, so large and complex that it becomes difficult to process using on-hand database system, tools, or traditional data processing applications. So, it is a collection of large and complex data sets that it becomes, जो कि मुश्किल हो जाती है हमें डेटा को हैंडल करने मैनेज करने के लिए, इसलिए बिग डेटा को मार्केट में लाया गया ताकि ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ डेटा को यूटिलाइज किया जा सके, उसका एक्सेस किया जा सके. Now, there are basically 5 V's of big data. What are the 5 V's of big data? It is a very, very huge characteristic, or we can say, and a demand through which we can know is it a big data or not. So, the 5 V's are the volume, the variety, the velocity, the value, and the veracity. So, we will discuss one by one about all these points. Talking about the volume, of course, the information moving on from day to day, from week to week, from month to month, from years and years. You can see that it's mentioned by 2020 what happened is that we have grown from 4.4 zettabytes today to around 44 zettabytes or 44 trillion gigabytes of data. How we are raising the information, you can see the graph from 2009 to 2020, we have raised a huge amount of data. So, it's a volume. How much, I had shown that graph also of the social media, a single person can generate how much kind of a data, how much a lot huge amount of data is produced by a single person. So, think about that, we are having millions of people are there. So, how much data has been produced day by day in every second? It's a very, very huge thing. Next is the variety, of course, talking about the variety of the data. Variety means we are having different varieties of data. We can say we are having the text files also, the image files also, your Excel files also, your CSV files also, your JSON files also. Or if I talk about the summary part, we can have the 3 categories of that data. For example, the structured data, the semi-structured data, and the unstructured data. In the previous lecture, we have discussed about all these 3 categories, that is the structured, semi-structured, and your unstructured data. Unstructured means, talking about a simple example, internet. On internet, we are throwing simply each and every information. Everything we are throwing simply. Semi-structured, that means they are CSV file or JSON files. And structured means in the tabular form representation. So, every kind of variety of data is been used by the big data. This information, if it has been used, that means it's a big data. So, it's mentioned here, different kinds of data is being generated for various sources. Next is your velocity. Velocity means, as the name represents, speed. And it's mentioned here, at every 60 seconds, how much data has been produced. That means 10,000 plus tweets in every 60 seconds. 695,000 of the status updates in every 60 seconds. 11,000 instant messages every 60 seconds. 698,445 Google searches in every 60 seconds. 168,000 of emails is been thrown in every 60 seconds. 1820 terabyte of data has been created in every 60 seconds, and 217 plus new mobile users is been accessed every 60 seconds. And you have seen that previously we were having the mainframes, then we have moved on to the client server, then we have moved on to the internet, and then we have moved on to the mobile, social media and cloud. Everywhere we are traversing, everywhere we are moving. So, that is why it's mentioned here, data is being generated at an alarming rate. It's an alarming rate, of course. It's the speed is so much high, the velocity, it's very, very much high, and a huge amount of data. We only need certain data analysts or data scientists who can frequently or who can easily access these information and have the outcome of that data. The next is the value. That is again a very, very important part of the big data. Value means the meaningful information. Whatever information we are using, it should be valuable enough. It should not be non-valuable. It should not be a non-meaningful data, isn't it? So, that is why it's mentioned here. Mechanism to bring the correct meaning out of the data is your valuable data. Fine. And next is the veracity. Veracity means uncertainty and inconsistencies in data. As the tabular representation has been showing, it's clearly shown is that we are having certain parameters in that is the min, the max, the mean and the standard deviation. And you can see that In that, we are having certain different values. This min value is having 4.3, 2.0 and 15,000 and 0.1. Of course, this value is certain different. It is the value which should not be present here itself. It should be removed. For example, in this second one, the max, here the value is blank. So, certain value should be filled here itself, by which the analysis can be done properly. Isn't it? Similarly, in the mean part, we are again having a blank, a question mark is there. We are not able to identify this information. Similarly, in the SD part, all the values are okay, but the problem is that this 5 zeros is not a proper information. That means it's a incorrect information. So, we have to remove all these inconsistencies and uncertainties from this table. Okay. So, this slide is simply representing all the 5 V's. That is the volume, the huge amount of data we are traversing, the variety, the different kinds of variety of data we are using, the velocity, the huge velocity we are using, the alarming rate velocity, the information, the data we are having, then the data, the meaning, the mechanism to bring out the correct data, and the veracity, that means uncertainty and inconsistencies in the data. So, these are the 5 V's at present. May be possible in future, more V's can come into the market. But previously not only these 5 V's were there, we were having the 3 V's also, we were having the 4 V's also. We will see in the further slides about how the 3 V's were there and how the 4, and then we come to the 5 itself. So, big data is an opportunity. As an opportunity, of course, we talk about, of course, it is having a faster and better decision making. Of course, it provides way to analyze information quickly and make decisions, isn't it? It gives us the improved services of products. It improved services or products. It is giving many more opportunities we are having. We are having the evaluation of customer needs and your satisfaction, isn't it? Then we are having the next generation products also, that is many more opportunities, automated cars, healthcare, etc. एंड मेनी मोर. सिंपल से एग्जाम्पल की अगर मैं बात करती हूँ, नेटफ्लिक्स की अगर हम बात करते हैं या यूट्यूब चैनल की हम बात करते हैं, अगर आप किसी चीज़ को एक्सेस करते हैं, उसको यूज़ करते हैं आप, तो उसी के रिगार्डिंग जो इन्फॉर्मेशन है आपके पास आते चली जाती हैं. जिस भी मूड के अकॉर्डिंग आप नेटफ्लिक्स में मूवीज़ अगर आप वॉच करते हैं, वही मूवीज़ आपको नेक्स्ट टाइम जब आप लॉग इन करेंगे तो उस टाइप की मूवीज़ आपको शो होनी शुरू हो जाएगी. दैट इज़ ऑल द इंफॉर्मेशन कैप्चरिंग बाय द यू. By the whatever information you have given to that Netflix, they have captured that information, and on the behalf of that information, they are giving you the output. So, see how effective, how efficiently it has been working. And of course, the big data analytics is the cost reduction. It is having the cost effective storage system for huge data sets. Now, what is the need for the big data analytics that came into the picture? I'll discuss certain examples for that. The big data analytics was a case, was a discuss at the New York police. Was that there was a crime rate was increasing day by day, and there was specific area where the crime rate was increasing day by day. So they were very much worried that how they are able to handle, how they are able to manage for that part. So for that part, they are trying to make the system more smarter and more efficient for that organization. So what they did is that whatever area where the crime rate was increasing, they have collected that information, that what are those areas, plus they have collected the time duration, at what time the crime was happening, on what age group they were affecting, and whatever we can say the people who were affecting, they were rich people or the poor people, they were the businessman, or they were or they are the working people, they are the employer of certain companies. On the behalf of all those information, they have done the collection, and they have concluded certain information on the behalf of which they were able to grasp the information properly and purely, and they were able to catch all those thieves, and they were able to stop the crime at a very less ratio, only on the behalf of this big data. The previous data, what was happening previously on that lane, on that area, they have collected that information properly, they have done the analysis on that data, and on the behalf of the analysis, they came to know how we can reduce the crime. So it's mentioned here, New York Police Department is utilizing data patterns, scientific analysis, and technological tools to prevent the occurrence of the crime. Next came into the picture is the optimizing business operation by analyzing the customer behavior. I discussed previously only that the Netflix example. For example, I want to purchase the pair of shoes from the Amazon, and I'm starting scrolling about different kinds of shoes, the colors of the shoes, and after a certain time I get bored and move on to some other category for purchasing some other item. But at the background, at the below of that, still the shoe pair has been showing of the different companies. Or if for example, I shut down my laptop for some time and again I log in the Amazon for the purchasing of some other item, again for me certain more pictures of the shoes will be getting showing. Only they are capturing the information, whatever I had, each and every point of the citation what we have done. I move on to which side I clicked, which pattern, every pattern has been collected, the time duration I had stopped, कितने देर के लिए मैं वहां रुकी, मैंने कितनी देर उसको विजुअलाइज करा, कितने देर मैंने उसको अंडरस्टैंड करा, वो सारे एनालिसिस को कैप्चर करके आइडेंटिफाई करके उन्होंने अपने पैटर्न्स को आइडेंटिफाई करा और उसके बिहाफ पर दे हैव गिवन द आउटकम दैट व्हाट काइंड ऑफ प्रोडक्ट्स आई एम इन नीड ऑफ. इससे क्या होगा, मुझे ज्यादा सर्चिंग की रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं पड़ी और वट एवर द प्रोडक्ट आई एम इन रिक्वायर्ड आई कैन इजिली कलेक्ट, सेल्स उनकी इंक्रीज हुई और मेरा भी काम, मुझे भी मेरा प्रोडक्ट मिल गया. सो ऑफ कोर्स इट इज अगेन द कस्टमर इज ऑल्सो हैप्पी एंड द कंपनी इज ऑल्सो हैप्पी. सो इट सेज दैट analyzing all the clicks of every visitor on a website, studying the paths leading them to buy the products, and of course at the end is the customer satisfaction. So it's mentioned here, Amazon using customer clickstream data and historical purchase data for more than 300 million customers, and each user is shown customized results on customized web pages. So this live example you've already seen. If you have done the online shopping, you can see that whatever shopping you have done in the previous, your historical data has been captured, your current data has been captured, and on the behalf of that, your page has been customized as per your requirement. Isn't it? Okay. Next is the cost reduction. Of course, there is an example of an hospital, which is the Parkland Hospital. At that time, what was that there was a huge ratio of the heart attacks of the patients was happening, and the hospital was getting full day by day. The people who are suffering from the heart attacks, or you may say suffering from certain kind of a disease, some infection was there. For example, we're taking the COVID infection, we are taking. The people all are thinking that we are impacted by the COVID, but they are not impacted by the COVID. The people who are severely suffering from the COVID, they are not able to get the beds in the hospital. The people who are not affected by the COVID, they are admitted, but the people who are affected by COVID, they are not admitted. So that was an issue creating. So for that part, they have generated certain software through which they can identify the people, or they can set certain information to those people that you are suffering from those kind of disease or not. They have to they are analyzing the information from the customers, whatever the patients they are coming towards there. They have taken certain parametric value, and on the behalf of those parametric value, they have cleared that you are not seriously affected. You can stay at home and you can happily sit at home and you can have certain limited medicines and you can easily get recovered. But the bed required are the severe patients which are more in need from you. Isn't it? So only on the behalf of this analysis, only on the behalf of the data of that patient, we can conclude to that the patient, which patient is serious and which patient is not serious enough. So it's mentioned here, Parkland Hospital uses analytics and predictive modeling to identify high-risk patients and predict likely outcomes once patients are sent home. As a result, Parkland reduced 30-day readmissions for the patients with heart failure by 31%. Saving $500,000 annually. So of course, it is benefit for the patients also and as well as for the hospital also. The next generation products are, there are a number of products coming in the market, is that talking about the Google service cars or the Google cars, big data tools used to prepare a Google self-driving cars. The Toyota Prius is fitted with cameras, GPS, as well as powerful computers and sensors to safely drive on the road without the intervention of human beings. That is a smart car. Now, the Netflix, we have discussed about the Netflix also. Netflix launched the seasons of the TV shows House of the Cards based on the users' reviews, ratings, and viewership. And one more example is the smart yoga mat, that the sensors embedded in the mat will be provided feedback on your posture, score your practice, and even guide you through a एट होम योर प्रैक्टिस, अगर आप कोई गलत पोस्चर लेते हैं तब वो आपको गाइड करेगा कितनी देर आपको बैठना है, कहाँ बैठना है. एवरी गाइडेंस विल बी गिवन बाय दिस मैट इटसेल्फ. Now coming on to the stages of the big data analytics, we are having the 5 stages in majorly classified in the big data. First one is the identifying the problem. We have to first of all initially identify the problem. Then we have to do the designing of the data requirement. Whatever that problem identification has been done, you have to design that data requirement. Then we have to do the pre-processing of that data. For example, pre-processing means we have to do the cleaning of the data. Simply saying that, for example, I'm working in a branch. For example, I'm talking about a bank branch. I'm having the employee ID. I'm storing my information as an employee ID. The employer name is there. The employee salary status is there. The employee account details has been there. So I am storing the information in terms of, for example, EMP_ID in my branch. In some other branch, they are using full complete nomenclature, employer ID. If I'll merge that data with my data, the system will understand they both are different parameters, EMP_ID and employer ID. They both are your different parameters, but अगर मैं बात करती हूँ ये दोनों के दोनों ही आपके सेम ही पैरामीटर्स है. बोथ आर रिप्रेजेंटिंग द आईडी, सो इट विल नॉट एबल टू मर्ज. So we have to do the pre-process. We have to clear the nomenclature of those parameters. That is one example of a pre-processing. Or we can say, if I'm trying to do the analysis of the data, I need all the word files at the one place. I don't need the PDF files or I don't need the Excel files. If I'm getting those Excel files or the PDF files, I have to do the conversion in certain single format by which I can have the analysis of that data. That is basically the pre-processing of that data, cleaning of the data. Cleaning, that means the missing data we have to remove. We have to clean that data, we have to recover that data, we have to fill that data with proper values. Then coming on to the performing analytics over the data. Whatever the analysis, whatever the pre-processing has been done, after that we have to do the performance. And then we have to do the visualization of that data. Visualizing the data means whatever the outcome we are getting, we have to give the outcome in the form of the graphs, in the form of the bar graphs, the charts, whatever value. Visualization is very much need. Now coming on to the types of the big data analytics, we are having basically the 4 types of big data analytics. The first one is the descriptive analytics, then predictive analytics, then prescriptive analytics, and then diagnostic analysis. So it's mentioned here, what is happening now based on incoming data. Google Analytics tool is the best example for descriptive analysis. That means what is happening, kya ho raha hai, what. A business gets results from the web server through the tool, which helps understand what actually happened in the past and validate if a promotional campaigning was successful or not based on the basic parameters like page views. So definitely एक Google Analytic tool है आपका जो आपको बता रहा है example of descriptive analytics, which is telling that कि what is happening, क्या हो रहा है, जो आपके page views हैं वो आपके काम कर रहे हैं कि नहीं कर रहे हैं आपके. On the behalf of that, we can have a declaration it is a descriptive analytics or not. Next is your predictive analytics. That means prediction हमें करना है. For example, what might happen in the future. For example, Southwest Airlines analysis sensor data on their planes in order to identify patterns that indicates a potential malfunction, thus allowing the airlines to the necessary repairs before it schedule. So whatever are the issues, they have done the identification of that area, and they have predicted that it may be a failure for after some time. So on the behalf of that prediction, they have concluded that area should be changed or that part should be changed by which there should not be any major accident should be happened. Next is your prescriptive analytics. Prescriptive means the prescription, the whatever we are giving certain conditions to that. If this happening, then what will happening? What action should be taken? क्या action आप लेंगे? Google self-driving cars is a perfect example of prescriptive analytics. It analyzes the environment and decides the direction to take based on your data. Next is your diagnostic analysis. Diagnostic analysis means पूरे सिस्टम को डायग्नोस करना, पूरा एनालिसिस करना और उसके बिहाफ पे आउटकम देना. जैसे फॉर अ सोशल मीडिया मार्केटिंग कैंपेनिंग यू कैन यूज डायग्नोस्टिक एनालिसिस टू एक्सेस द नंबर ऑफ पोस्ट्स, मेंशन, फॉलोअर्स, फैन, पेज व्यूज, review, pins, etc. and analyze the failure and success rate of the campaigning at a fundamental level. So that means whatever social media data we are having capturing of that data, and on the behalf of that we can have the diagnosis for having certain outcomes. So simply talking about that, if मैं बात करती हूँ simple language में, descriptive, predictive, prescriptive, diagnostic. अगर कोई पेशेंट आपका डॉक्टर के पास जाएगा तो पेशेंट अपने आप को डिस्क्राइब करेगा, बताएगा कि मुझे क्या इश्यूज है, मुझे क्या प्रॉब्लम है, वो पूरी की पूरा डिस्क्राइब करेगा, डिस्क्रिप्शन करेगा, व्हाट इज हैपनिंग टू मी. प्रेडिक्टिव एनालिसिस मीन्स जब डॉक्टर है वो आपको बताएगा, प्रिडिक्ट करेगा कि आपको ये हो सकता है, आपका ये परेशानी हो सकती है, आपको जुकाम हो गया, ये खांसी हो गया, वो इस तरीके से आपको प्रिडिक्ट कर सकता है. प्रिस्क्रिप्शन में वो आपको टेस्ट बताएगा कि आप इन टेस्ट को करवाइए, टेस्ट को करवाने के बाद आई गिव यू द आउटकम. डायग्नोस्टिक में जब आपके पास रिजल्ट्स आ जाएंगे, उस टेस्ट के बिहाफ पे वो बताएगा, आपको आउटपुट देगा कि हाँ आपको ये दिक्कतें हैं, आपको ये मेडिसिन लेनी चाहिए. दिस इज हाउ योर डेटा एनालिटिक्स वर्क्स. डिस्क्रिप्टिव, प्रेडिक्टिव, प्रेस्क्रिप्टिव एंड डायग्नोस्टिक. Fine. That's it in this class. Further we will discuss in next class. Thank you so much.